Everybody, here we are, the after show, but later, episode number 328. It's your boys D and Luis Cortez Jr. Now, I have to start off by thanking you because the sick ass new hat that I got right here is courtesy of the homie right here, Luis Cortez Jr. And my mom was telling me something about she's seen a package or something for Luis, and I was like, what? I was like, Mom, I was like, you're tripping. I was like, there's that's a common ass name. Like, I'm like, it could be any Mexican in Yuma, you know? And I was like, maybe something got delivered to like the wrong house. And she was like, oh yeah, whatever. And then I ended up talking to my sister and I was like, oh, I didn't know that this fool was going to try to come down and make my birthday. I was like, oh, dog. So then you ended up not being able to make it, but you sent a gift. And I was like, that was way more than you ever needed to do, man. So I really want to thank you for it because yeah, Lisa, freaking Luis Cortez Jr. got it for me. So thank you for the hat, man. I was just like, did not expect anything. So thank you so much, man. I was so grateful. And yeah, I know you told me you're like, it's not black, but I think it's sick. And it is. Look at this. Oh,
Yeah, bro, and I just want to shout out your sister. She reached out to me, the week of the, hey, it's Daniel's birthday, and yeah, and then she's like, we're having a party, and like, I guess nowadays, I mean, I don't look dumb, but you gotta just make sure everyone ain't dumb. She's like, it's a surprise party, like, make sure you don't tell them and shit. Like, I just want to make sure you know that. I'm like, look, I got it. She sent me the invitation and it said surprise party, like, don't say shit, whatever. I'm like, look, I'm a chismosa, but not like that. Like, I'm not gonna burn
yeah.
the spot. And I'm like, unfortunately, I've been some fools have been whining and dying to me. I'm trying to change employers, so some fools were in town. I couldn't really bail on that. So I
Yeah.
thought about it and I looked into it, but I just couldn't get out of it. So I'm like, hey, I hate that I can't be there. I'm sure it would have been a badass party. So I'm
It,
like, hey, at least let me send the gift, right? And then so I'm like, should I send it to the address on the invitation? I'm not sure if that was your house or not. And I was like, she's like, no, she's like, send it to my house, and then or whatever. I think that
yeah.
was her house
Yeah.
or your mom's or whatever. She's like, that was always at my house anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm like, fine for sure. And then I'm like, if I put his name, maybe he's gonna open it and shit. And I was gonna put like a funny name, or I was gonna be like, who the fuck is this? So I figured at least if I put my name, if your sister saw it, should be that she knew that's what's
She
up.
knew.
And I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm
No.
like, yo, like, I don't have a gift. Like, it's not a bag. Like, I buy it right from the fucking website. I'm like, hopefully, like, I'm not worried about the price or whatever. But like that and like the fuck, I'm like, there's no bag. You're just gonna give it to her in a box.
Nah.
And
Nah.
she's
Nah.
like, nah.
No.
She's like, I got you. She's like, I will put it in a bag and shit
Yeah,
for you.
Doug.
So
My
she
my
took care of me.
sister.
Gracias to her. And
Yeah, she put it, packaged it all and everything, dog. I was so tripping because like, for one, like you said, it was a surprise party, and I think my sister related the message to you where she's like, don't say anything because my wife was trying to keep it under wraps. I guess like she had been like talking to people and for like I don't know, it was like a month or over a month that she had been trying to get everything together, and she was like, I know somebody's gonna tell him, and it ended up not slipping out of anybody. So, dog, that was some things that like it sounds stupid, dog, but like I've only seen on TV. I've never like to me, I was like a surprise party, dog. Like we don't do that kind of shit, like fucking raza, dog, isn't like it ain't surprising people, It's just like, hey, you're lucky you
yeah,
have one, You're lucky you have a
right.
party. That's how it's always been. So like it was just the craziest surprise ever, man. It was it was super badass. So I appreciate you sending over a gift, man. A double M over here says that the hat's fresh. Freaking Lisa over here. Magical Mexican says that he wasn't going to tune in because of the what is it, like the State of the Union or something tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad that you decided to stick with us today, Magical Mexican. We have a lot planned for you guys today. There's we might play a couple of games. We might I don't even know where to start. I know you sent me a couple of things. So where do you want to get started, Luis?
I'm curious to see, and if you don't mind sharing, what was the setup? Did your wife, like, hey, let's go to the store, or let's go to your mom's, or how did you get like the surprise? How did they get you
Oh,
out of the
well,
spot or into the spot?
what happened was so my wife told me, she was like, hey, she was like we're gonna go eat, right? And I was like, all right. She had told me we were gonna leave and we had to be there at like 6 or leave the house at 6 or whatever. And I was like, all right. I was like, do I get like, I was like, I don't think we're going to like a steakhouse or anything because my mother-in-law is gonna be in town and that's where we're going. Actually, like the day after tomorrow. So I was like, I don't think we're gonna do like a steakhouse or anything fancy. So I was like, can I just put on like jeans or something? And she was like, yeah. So I just, showered up and everything. And then I was like, just got ready. And I was like, what are we gonna do? Hit like Applebee's or something, dog? Because I was like, we're not really gonna do much, but it's just gonna be, we're not gonna do much, but I was like, we're just gonna go for dinner or whatever. So I was like, cool, whatever. I had no idea. I was just like, yeah, we're gonna go to dinner, like just basic, cool. I was completely happy with that. I was like, cool, whatever. I don't need to make a big deal about my birthday or anything. To me, it's just like whatever. It's cool. I mean, I appreciate people, but I don't. As much as I'm an attention whore, I don't really need to be the center of attention like that. Where I'm like, where I want people to go out of their way and shit, you know. So she was like, no, we're gonna go grub or whatever, and then so uh leave it to my family to we pull up to the place, and I see there's a cop has somebody pulled over, and it's my cousin. Welcome to my life, right? And I was like, what the all right, whatever. Still not thinking anything, dog. And then I seen like a couple of my cousins, and I was like, oh, like maybe we had gone to the bowling alley. So I was like, oh, maybe like we're gonna get a table or something. And she's like, hey, come over here or whatever. Like it'll be cool. So I still didn't think anything. I just thought it was gonna be like one or two of my cousins. I was like, all right, cool. And then dog, still I'm walking, going all the way in, and like just literally, dog, still have no idea. Like no idea. And then I see a couple more people, and I was like, hey, oh cool. She invited a couple of people, cool. And then we went into like one of their little like, I guess like rooms that they have, or whatever. And then when I walked in there, I seen like everybody and their mama there, and I was just like, oh, like that's when it hit me. And then I was like, oh shit, it's like this is like for me, right? And then I was like looking around, I was just like, oh, cool, cool. And then I seen my buddy Luis that I mention every show, and I was just like, dog, I was like, he came, like he made a special trip, like trip me out, dog, because I was like, he was like, dog, he goes, you got to stop saying this. He goes, you make me sound like a piece of shit. And I go, why? Because I was like, he doesn't do shit for anybody. I'm like, he doesn't go out of his way. And he was like, dog, all right, kick back. Like, I know you're happy, but you're making me sound bad. And I was like, but I was just that surprised, And I was like, the fact that he made a trip for me, that I thought it was so dope, man. I was just like crazy surprised. And then, man, ended up being there for a few hours with the family and close friends and stuff like that, and then watched Ryan Garcia dominate, and then after that we went to the casino, and I ended up getting home at like 5:30 in the morning, and dog, I haven't done that since I was like 25, and so it was just, I didn't get out of bed on my actual birthday until like 2 p.m. So I felt guilty. I like took my daughter out to eat. I was like, all right, man. I was like, you've been cool. I was like, I appreciate you being, very patient with me, because I wasn't feeling it. And so I had to take her out to eat, and I felt like, like I was able to make her feel a little bit better, but it was crazy, dog. It was a great experience, and I rambled too much about it, but it was freaking, it was crazy. It was crazy. And my buddy was like, dude, he's like, your lady loves you, huh? I was like, yeah. Like, like I was like, yeah, like, I guess I take it for granted, but I was just like, because he was just thinking about like the Backstreet Boys Sphere tickets for Christmas, and then surprise party for my birthday. And he was just like, damn, like she's always doing something, So yeah, man, I had a great time. Great time. So appreciate you guys. And if you missed it, the hat I'm sporting, this fool right here, my co-host, sent a gift, so something I wasn't even expecting in the least, and partnered up with my sister. She got it all packaged for him and in a nice little bag and everything for me. So great birthday. Nice, great to have people in my life like you guys listening, like Luis over here, and like my family and friends, man. It was crazy. So that much closer to 40 is how I'm getting. So yeah. Anyway,
Bro, I'm right there. I'm glad. It sounds like it was special, bro. And I'm not really one about my birthday either. Like, I mean, like you said, I'm an attention whore, but it's just something about my birthday that I just kind of try to deflect all the time, or like kind of talk it down. So, but I mean, I'm sure that's a great feeling, bro. I'm around the corner, bro. I'm like 2 weeks from mine, so I'm like, fuck, nobody planned shit for me. Like, I just want to go get pizza, maybe a tattoo,
Yeah,
have a couple beers, and that's it. Like, that makes my heart happy. Have the ones I love and my friends around that I can, and
yeah,
so I'm excited for that. Sounds badass, though. I'm glad that, and hats off to your sister again, bro. For making it happen for me. I do appreciate it, but. You talk about the fights real quick, man. That was a pretty legit fight, bro. I wasn't sure what to expect with Ryan Garcia and shit because
yeah,
the last one was kind of but he looked locked in, bro. And once round one came out, like, yo, this was not fucking around and shit.
yeah,
And as the rounds get progressing, that fool was locked in, bro. And I was kind of chatting because we like to do that sometimes around the fights and shit.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, man, he looked fucking sharp, bro. Did you catch the UFC?
yeah. Well, I caught the. I think it was maybe the fight before Sean Strickland, and then I caught Strickland and Fluffy. And we were actually on our way to go watch the Ryan Garcia one, so I got to watch that on the way. And then as soon as we got to the pad that we were going to be at, I got to watch like the second half of the fight. And by second half, I mean the third round and the rest of the second round because Sean Strickland knocked him out in the third round. So I got to do that. But yeah, Ryan Garcia, man, I was like, I was completely wrong. I thought Fluffy was gonna win, so I thought Sean Strickland was gonna lose. Even though I'm a fan of Sean, I dig him. And then I thought I was kind of not sure about Ryan Garcia because I go, dog, he's been acting a fool, right, for the last couple of years on social media and doing this and that, and I was just like, I don't know, dog. I was like, is he just kind of not 100% in the game anymore? I was like, is this fool gonna find out, tonight? Dog, it was the complete opposite. He handled Doc from the start of the fight. And I love how they kept showing him like they kept going back to what that first knockdown that he got where Mario Barrios is he puts a fist out and then does like a little hook and knocks him to the ground. And then they go and they show a clip of him warming up and he's practicing that. Bah, bah, and dog, he just kept landing with that. Then he did it the opposite way. Bah, and dog, it was just domination, total domination. I don't know if the judges had it, all the rounds to Ryan, but it was definitely for anybody watching. He dominated. He dominated. There was a couple of punches that Mario got through, but dog, it was total domination. That was 100% won every round. And dog, I thought Barrios might win by decision because I go, he's not going to knock out Ryan, but I was like, he might be able to get him on points. Dog, I couldn't have been more off. So thank God I didn't put any money on Sean Strickland or the Ryan Garcia fight because I would have been wrong on both. My buddy Luis, dog, he made out like a bandit because he bet on Ryan and on Sean Strickland, and he made out like a bandit. So I was like, I don't know, dog. Like, I thought Fluffy was gonna win, but I like Sean. I thought Ryan might win. I mean, I thought Ryan might lose, but I'm not sure because I'm like, you never know, dog. Sometimes people do this shit and act crazy just to kind of throw people off their scent, right? Like, oh, maybe let this fool think I'm not training or I am tripping or whatever. Dog, it was just overall great fights. Great fights. So, what did you think about the UFC? Did you get to catch that or no?
Yeah, I did. I have like a hack fire stick and I can actually like split screen. So I was able to kind of tandem and watching them both. And
Dang.
when one was kind of boring, I switched to the other one kind of shit. But I did. But I just wanted to hit on. Well, the fights were great. I mean, I enjoyed it, especially when I'm paying $0. But the boys were talking about overpromise too. How fucking Strickland is fucking unhinged, bro. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of people. I think it's funny. Sometimes that's just too much. But on the post fight, I don't know if you caught it. They actually cut his mic out and shit because
No, I didn't
typically,
catch it.
typically let him fucking ramble and talk his shit. Especially like in the pre-fight, he was saying a lot of dumb shit,
Yeah.
and that's the thing that the guys were talking about that on Promise. But yeah, and the actual post fight, I mean, it was probably like 2 minutes in. I mean, he was saying shit that it's bad for the UFC and for him too. I mean, it's who he is. He's a fucking idiot. And he
Yeah.
gets hit in the head for leaving, like Covino said. But like, he doesn't get paid to talk, bro. He gets paid to fight. But it was just shit that politically incorrect and probably shit that UFC doesn't want to be affiliated with. And then, I think Dana White came on and they were asking Dana White about like, what do you think about what this was saying, whatever. And he was like, kind of talking shit, like. It's all your guys' fucking fault. You guys are asking them fucking dumbass questions. They're not even fucking related to fucking like UFC. Like ask him about fighting shit or like don't ask him shit. Like, obviously this was gonna say whatever the fuck he wants no matter what. But
Yeah.
they were definitely kind of encouraging and were poking at him to get those fucking answers. And I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's still going to be clicks and shit for them that they may or may not want. But you know, it is a little bit of bad PR. But I thought it was fucking funny. He was just talking all that shit, and then it kind of cut out, almost like where you would think like, hey, was that an accident or not? And then you could see him keep talking shit, and then I think you heard him like, well, I guess I'm done, and he just fucking put the mic and just fucking left.
No,
But yeah, I think
I
it
need
was
to
a
go
good
back.
weekend.
I need to go back and check them out, dog. Because I always love the post fight things, but I think since we went directly to Ryan Garcia after that, I didn't see it that night and I didn't go back. But dog, I heard that they had cut him off, and I was like, oh shit, what was he saying? So I want to go back. I always like the post fight interviews, you know. So I want to go ahead and check that out. But yeah, this will. I'd never seen them cut off anybody's mic before, so that's a first.
Yeah, and I don't think I have either. And even I think Rich was like, "Hey, let's play a little bit in Spot," and and Covino were like, "Fuck that, we don't want to give him any like additional,
Yeah.
views or whatever, or people to go see." But I mean, if you want to see it, like I said, there was some funny shit, but just too much, bro, and like just especially for that guy in the caliber and that kind of network that the UFC is. But
Speaking of views, Doug, did you hear? I don't know if you heard, but for those of you guys that aren't familiar with Covino and Rich, they actually still so they do their Patreon. They work on Fox Sports Radio, but they still do a lot of music stuff for SiriusXM. Well, a few months ago, maybe it was even a year or so ago, Covino interviewed Creed. And he interviewed Creed, and it was like an hour-long interview on SiriusXM. And at the time, you could only get the interview on the app. So it was an hour-long interview. I know at the time, Covino was he was so happy he did it. He said, it was so cool for them to connect. They had met a handful of times, and so just to see each other, whatever kind of BS. And just this past week, he found out that, hey, somebody actually uploaded this interview to YouTube, had over like 1.5 million views, and then there's different variations of the interview that were uploaded, 300,000 views, 600,000 views, 450,000 views. There was like probably like 5 or 6 million views total for this interview that Covino didn't even know that was out there. So I still haven't watched it, but I want to go ahead and check it out. I know Lisa, she's here in the chat. She was actually there in person to see Covino actually interview Creed. So, man, I bet that was super awesome. Lisa, let us know in the chat if there was anything that stood out to you or anything. I mean, I know Covino said that they sounded even better in person than they do on the record. So I want to go check it out just because I bet it was super cool. And Covino seemed very happy when he came back for it. So I thought that was dope. So if you guys want to see it, if you're interested in Creed, go check it out because it was an hour-long interview that looked like it was very fun because Creed has been, very, I guess, popular over the last few years or last couple of years. They kind of had a little comeback. And I guess this was kind of the interview that got everybody like, oh, damn, maybe Creed's not done yet. So I thought that was super cool. I know that you had sent me something earlier in the day, and I didn't even know where this is going or what. So I want to bring something on screen right now, and then hopefully you can go ahead and let us know what's going on here.
yeah, just as you get that going, so I know we try to, help the boys out and promote shit. So today was a lot of shit, I guess, for tier two that, you got to benefits, but there was a lot of video methods of the show today. One of them was they were talking about bullies, you know what I mean? And they somehow started talking to Spot like, hey, were you ever? They probably figured he was bullied because that's what anyone would think, especially knowing Spot and shit.
Yeah.
And then they were making fun of him and shit, like who would pick on this guy, And then Covino was asking him to pull pictures, like, don't you have a picture of you like in a tailored suit or whatever? And then they were giving him shit about how he was dressed or whatever. And then to me, I was just like, I think we need to fucking take Spot in as a down food because look at the fucking socks on this vato, bro. I mean, they're to his fucking shins, like, bro. This is one down food right here, dude. But like, how could you pick on this guy, bro? Like,
No,
look at this guy.
what's funny is that so I heard part of this conversation and I was in and out, obviously because they're on when we're at work, right? When the majority of us are working, and so we have a lot going on right now, especially this week. We work with resident physicians, and this week it's Think Resident Week, so we've been doing all kinds of crap, whatever. And I remember Rich saying that he almost died, but a bully saved him or something. I missed the story completely, but I guess this is when they actually showed this. Did they show this on the show?
Yeah, yeah. So they were showing that, and they showed a different one to spot. This one was cuter, so I picked
Yeah.
that one. But the story Rich was saying was that he was getting about to get beat up by a bully, and then he realized it was like his homie's brother, and he's like, "It's me, Richie Davis. Like I'm Billy Bob's brother. You know, like don't hurt me." And he's like, "Wait, you're so and so's
Yeah.
brother. Like
You
he's
know,
like you're friends with
Paul?
my bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're friends with my brother. Like fuck, like I can't fuck you up. Like my mom's gonna know, kind of shit."
Yeah.
So he's like. All right, I'm gonna let you go this one. So Rich was saying how he got out of that one, but they were just talking about bullies and how growing up. And I mean, I guess I had a question for you because I guess everyone it was one or the other. I think growing up, either you were the bully or you got bullied, or maybe you rode with the bullies or whatever. But I mean, what's your story? You're kind of a big kid? Were you the? I
I
doubt you were picking on people, but
Yeah, no, I was never picking on people. I wasn't getting picked on because I think because I was a big ass kid. Um but I was never I'm not really a I don't want to say an intimidating person. I'm not really a pick on people person, you know? I mean, I might talk shit or whatever, but that's how it all, we always were like that growing up, you know, everybody talking shit to each other. But as far as like punking people and like the shit you see in movies where like, give me your lunch money, you know? That was never me. That was never, and aside from that, just not being in my nature, I was scared my mama was gonna whoop my ass. So I would, dog, was it, I don't know if it was you that we were having the conversation with or I was having the conversation with, but it was always like if my mom drilled it into us, like if I have to go down to that school, you're gonna regret I ever had to go down to that school. So I was like, oh hell no. Like aside from me, you know, kind of, I think since I was a big kid, I didn't have to really like prove myself. Like I guess some of the smaller kids that had like that, you know, Napoleon complex or whatever they call it, you know.
yeah.
And so but no, I was never picking on people and people kind of, I don't know, I think I was a friendly kid and I kind of got along with everybody. So um and it's not like I was like a big ass dork or something like, you know, I'm sure I think I got glasses in like second grade and I probably wore them for like a week and I was like, fuck this, I'm not gonna wear these no more, you know? But I don't know. There was nothing like aside from me being fat, there was nothing really crazy about me, you know, like I just was normal. I wasn't like the poor kid, you know, I wasn't the rich kid. So I just had like normal clothes, you know, so nothing cause you know, Rich always say if there's something that makes you stand out, you know, that's kind of what you got picked on. So maybe you were the rich kid and you had a bunch of shit and people were like, look at this fucking bitch. Or maybe you're the very poor kid and people were like making fun of your clothes or whatever. I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't rich, I wasn't poor. I mean, well, I was pretty poor, but I'm not poor enough. You know, my mom wasn't gonna let me go to school looking like shit. So we were like kind of normal. And so I think me being a big ass kid and normal, it just kind of left me kind of in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Now I gotta know now. Were you a bully or how is yours?
And and the more I think about it, I think that's kind of how I became the person I am. Like I'm very happy-go-lucky. Like if anyone's ever meet me or you can see I'm easy to get along with. Like I can go with the flow and shit. So growing up, I was always the little guy. So that inherently is kind of like let's pick on that fool because he's little and shit. But I grew up where my dad and my mom were like, defend your fucking self. Like we don't care, I mean, don't much like your mom. I better not fucking get a call from school because you're doing stupid shit. But if I got a call and they'd believe me, like, yo, this fool was picking on me, he hit me, he pushed me, like I threw a punch or whatever. I'm sure they would back me up. But it never really got that bad because when fools would pick on me or they started to or wanted to, like. I almost kill him with kindness, or would be funny about it, or you're like, hey, you can fucking push me all you want, like you're the fucking dick. So I spun it in a way where it benefited me, and that's kind of how a lot of my friends became my friends because they're like, yo, this was cool and he's funny or whatever, and like yeah, maybe little and shit, but like, so I kind of had people that would protect me kind of shit, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was kind of cool for me growing up and not too many people picked on me then, but just because I was the little guy, it was easy for the big guys kind of shit. And then I kind of use that for my advantage sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm friends with fucking with Daniel, fool, that fool's big will fuck you up. Like, don't pick on me. What's up, dog? You know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
was cool. So and then at times I almost felt like I hate when people would do that shit. I think we talked about it last time when we were talking about the guys were picking on Rich. And we were talking about maybe guys in school would slam your books. Like if I ever seen that shit in front of me, like, I'd be pissed, bro. Like, I'd be like, hey, what the fuck? Like, hey, that's not cool, fool. Like I was not Captain Save-A-Hole, but like at least trying to defend the other little guy
Yeah.
or the guy who couldn't defend himself because I was that guy and I had like people who would help me. So, I used to kind of hate that shit, but I mean, that shit did happen. And I think that conversation in CNR started because they were talking about how it's a kind of a wild time where girls are picking on girls really
Yeah,
more than
yeah, yeah.
anything, you know what I mean? And that's how that conversation got to this point. And then they asked Spotty about about if he ever got punked, and they're like, "Who would help pick on me? Look how cute I was," kind of
No,
thing. And
and and
Spot's excuse, go ahead, go ahead.
no, no, no. Spot's excuse was what?
His spot's like, I never got picked on because he's like, I was the youngest, so everyone knew I was a Sorge, and they knew my brothers, and like I went to the same school, and like maybe they were in high school and he was in middle school, like, oh, we can't fuck with this one because his big brother, we know his big brother is, and shit like that. So that was another thing for a lot of me too. I was a younger, so like, hey, I'm so and so's brother or whatever, like, oh, this was cool, or don't fuck with him because we know his brother because they're older or already graduated, kind of shit. So that was like another way to defend myself, really.
And I don't know too if part of it was like by the time I was in like 6th or 7th grade, a lot of people knew who my family was, right? So like I had an older brother, I had a lot of cousins that they knew that didn't fuck around. So I think that kind of deterred people if they did want to start shit with me. Like, I don't know. Because by the time I got to like junior high school, now I'm going to the same school as a lot of my cousins, and people knew that like I may not fight anybody, but my cousins are gonna fuck up anybody. So, dog, I remember my cousin Ruben, fucking same grade as me. He got into a fight the first day of 7th grade, dog. We get to junior high school and fucking da, 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 da. I was like, oh fuck, for real? This is how it's gonna be, dog. So yeah, so they weren't afraid to ever get into anything. They knew they weren't gonna get in trouble if they fought. So and then, dog, you get to high school, like me and all my buddies, dog, we were, I don't want to say well over 6 foot, but dog, like I'm 6'2". My buddy Luis is like 6'1". My buddy Chris is 6'5". I'm like, dog, we were all like a bunch of big ass dudes. So it was kind of like people just kind of left us alone, you know? So I don't know. And again, we were easygoing. We weren't trying to start shit with people, you know, we weren't like making fun of the nerds and shit or whatever, you know. We were just like pretty chill, just kind of like to ourselves or whatever. So that was never our scene, dog. And you know what? It makes me think too, like, because in my mind, I was going to say, I don't think that really existed in my school, but I think I'm blind to it because I wasn't a part of like either side of it. Like in high school, especially as far as like the picking on people or getting picked on. So I'm like, I don't, I'm sure it existed, dog. And, but I kind of feel like I remember like there was this little trashy ass white kid named Trey. He was like poor and shit, dog. But like, I'm like, people didn't like pick on him. They were just like, fuck, that sucks. You know, like I kind of feel like people were pretty easy going. So I don't know, dog. I don't know. I'm sure it existed. I just don't know. You know, I
It's
wasn't
probably
there.
because you first were the criminals, fool. Or what was your mascot?
Oh we were the criminals, dog, and that's dog. You were just asking me about the Chatter Wheel podcast, and here they are live joining us. So thank you guys. I think it was Evan that had I was chatting with in the comments last week. So I appreciate you joining us live. But yeah, dog, we were the criminals. We talked about having our we talked about having the teen pregnancy or teen daycare on campus, doc. So our mascot's the criminals. We had a daycare on campus for all the kids that had kids, and then we had a bunch of cholos mobbing around, dog. So we had an SRO, so we had a cop that was on campus, and we had security guards. So it was there was shit going down, but yeah. Anyway, so Doug, thanks again for sharing that with me and letting me share that with the world because yeah, Spot's over here with his knee-high socks, so he's a down-ass fool, man. Let me see what else did we have on here. Oh, you know what? Now or Never. So Covino and Rich, they did a show on ESPN, Now or Never. They did that for a couple of years, actually before COVID hit. And the thing that Leonardo's here. Once a criminal, always a criminal, says Leonardo. But Covino and Rich did Now or Never for a couple of years on ESPN before COVID. After COVID, a lot of things happened, you know, bada bing, bada boom, you know. But Covino and Rich were on ESPN for a minute. I remember going to their studio in LA, and I felt like I had some behind the scenes type information. Because when I went to go visit them at the studio, it was me and I think my homie Johnny that had gone. And they were like, oh yeah, they're like, we haven't announced it yet. they're like, but we just got a deal with ESPN. We're gonna be doing a talk show at night, on ESPN and this and this. And dog, I must have had that knowledge for like a few weeks to a month. And I thought, dog, I was on the inside, dog. I was like, I thought I had like a NDA, like a non-disclosure or whatever, where I was just like, I can't be saying nothing. This is how it works when you're in the entertainment business, dog. Sometimes you can't have a big mouth and you just got to keep things on the DL. So then Cavino and Rich, obviously, they tease it for, a few weeks or whatever. And they're like, we have something big we're going to announce soon, dog. And I was just like, yeah, dog. Wonder what it is, like, and Doug, I felt so special that they went ahead and shared it, dog, which they probably shared with whoever came through their studio. They're just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. But I felt at the time like I got this inside baseball. So the other day, Cavino was talking about Now or Never and saying how their Instagram page still exists and all that. So they were going through and they were playing some old things. So just wanted to go ahead and share this and share my little experience about before they got on the air, and then it's amazing how smooth things go when it's on the DL. Yeah. And, actually, we did keep, whoever did end up going and we did keep our mouths shut. So I think that is one of the things that made it kind of cool. What else we got here? Oh, yeah. So our thumbnail for this actual episode that you guys are watching right now is Rich Davis. So for you guys that didn't get to catch Cavino and Rich this week, Rich was saying that he has a vacation that he's planned. Is it like later this summer or something, Luis?
In like mid March actually,
Okay.
like mid to late March. So like
Okay. So
in the next month.
about a month from now, Rich is planning to go. He had this vacation to go to Mexico. So he was asking, do I go? Do I not go? It's he said like a 30-hour drive from where it's El Mencho, right? That got
Yeah.
freaking blown up. So it's like 30 hours from there. But he was like, is it still going to be like crazy with cartels and stuff? He's like, should I change my plans? Should I go somewhere else for a vacation? He ended up changing plans, but what do you think? Do you think it would be safe to travel somewhere in Mexico, or just close to where it happened might be kind of iffy? What are you thinking?
Just real quick to rewind to go to an hour later. I mean, I remember that show too, and I remember the first couple nights. I'm like, I gotta stay up till
Dog,
fucking 11 or
I'm so
whatever.
sorry, dog. I didn't even
You're
give you
good.
a chance. I just
I
continued.
you're good because the only thing it was a good show. I mean, they were kind of starting up, but the first episode I was like, man, this shit's late as fuck. I gotta stay up till 11. I'm gonna just DVR this shit. I'll watch it the next morning. But I think one of the best things that came out of the show, I mean, that projected them to where they're at now. But I have to look up the fucking picture and I'll have to send it to you. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But when they got fucking dressed up as Toy Story, bro, and we have that amazing picture of those fools, two fools, like that was probably like one of the best highlights that came out. So
Oh,
for you guys that don't know, I think it was like a Halloween special on Now or Never or something, and they had like makeup artists there to do their makeup for show ready shit. But those same ladies did their makeup for their costumes, and Cavino was Buzz Lightyear, and Rich was fucking Woody, and like, dude, the makeup was so over the fucking top. Like, I think they try to put like extra highlight, like try to make him like realistic, but it was so fucking fake, and that shit's like so fucking funny that it was so weak. And I know Cavino hates that shit, and that shit's still out there too. So I always give him shit about it, like, yo, fools look fucking gay, but that shit was funny.
no,
But hey,
there was their Toy Story uniform or costumes, and there was also, I think it was their last interview or last something they did on Sirius XM, dog, where they were dressed up like the Karate Kid or something, or
yeah.
they were doing something, but there it has just so it happened, dog, that anytime they do something for the last time, they're dressed in like a dumb ass costume. So when they left Sirius XM, they were dressed like it was either Zack and Slater
Yeah.
or freaking Karate Kid or something. And then for Now or Never, the last episode I think that they had air was the one for Now or Never where they were dressed as like Woody, and I'm like, oh my god, and Buzz Lightyear. So yeah, man, that's crazy.
You're good. And then in Mexico, bro, you know what's crazy? So he was going to go to Acapulco, which not too much shit's going on there. And this kind of hits close to home because my dad's from Zacatecas. We go every year in August, and there's been a couple years in our recent history that we haven't gone because like my cousins, we fly into Guadalajara and it's like a 3 hour drive northeast to the pueblo my dad's from. It's called Bullied González Ortega,
Uh,
and it's kind of close to one of the bigger towns where a lot of shit does happen. So it can and be kind of sketchy. And my cousins told me before, like, hey, if I was you, don't come this year. It's kind of fucked up. Or there was a couple times where we would go and we wouldn't even travel at night just because like it was unsafe. People were, shit was happening or people were getting jacked or kidnapping and shit like that for, for ransom stuff. So actually, when this shit started going off, I hit on my cousin because I'm like, at first I'm like, yo, you guys good and shit. And he was actually like in a neighboring town, like three
yeah,
hours away, and couldn't even get back home because
that it all
what they
blocked
did
off or
was,
something.
yeah, bro, and even in like the little town my dad's from, anything that had government related, there's like a government related bank. They went and shot it up and fucking caught it on fire. There's like a big holy mountain where my dad's from that like a lot of tourists come and go, but it's on the main road. So they tipped over a big semi there, caught it on fire. Of course, the fucking grass took off and like the whole mountain caught on fire.
That's
So
crazy.
it was kind of crazy because to me, I was like, honestly, I usually buy our tickets to go to Mexico in March because that's when they have like sale. It's when the airplane has like its anniversary, so it puts out like cheaper tickets.
Mm.
So I was like, oh shit, and then like my dad comments like, hey, don't even fucking worry about it. Like like almost to what Sarah said was like, if we go, we're gonna be like, oh shit happening, or like kind of worried, or like yeah. If you're going on vacation to not worry about shit, not think about shit, like. And the last thing we'll do, like, hey, how is it? Is it scary? Like, can we go and shit? The fact that like our life can be in jeopardy or just not be comfortable. My dad made the card and what Alpha says goes. I was like, don't even fucking worry about it. Like, we'll
Yeah,
go next year or maybe later on in the year. In September is a different time that we used to go. So, to Rich's point, it just have to be at the wrong spot at the wrong time, bro. It doesn't really fucking matter. I mean, shit was going on the airport. Like, you would think out of all places at the airport, it would be kind of safe. But even then, shit was happening. I still think
yeah.
there's people who are fucking trapped there. So, uh, I'm glad that Rich switched it up. I think they're going to the DR now or something. Good for them. But yeah, bro, I wouldn't risk it for the bacon. And I mean, you just never know. Shit happens instantly.
Yeah, no, and Cavino made a good point because he was like, Rich, he's like, you bought the insurance for the vacation, so it's 100% refundable, or you get to use it on like a different resort or something. He's like, this is why you buy insurance, right? It's for things like this. So if you don't feel like you mentioned, it's not even like, oh yeah, I'm worried something's gonna happen. But if you're just gonna be a little uncomfortable, like you mentioned, you're supposed to relax, and you're like, I'm gonna be a little bit high stressed, or kind of, I want to be looking over my shoulder while I'm on vacation? Because dog, when there's things happening like with the cartels and stuff, sometimes they do want to hit these tourist places. They're like, all right, we're gonna make a point. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a big scene or whatever in one of these places to actually get more attention or whatever. So I would say foul him, but that's not. I don't fault Rich for actually making the change, because if he's gonna have a better vacation now, wherever he's gonna be, like he said, Aruba or the DR or whatever the hell he had said, then go do that. He can afford to. He got the insurance. Might as well take advantage, right? When you, just like your car insurance, dog. If you're paying into your car insurance every year, and you get like a little fender bender, and you're like, damn, oh, my cousin could fix it for half the price. Dog, that's why you pay your deductible and shit, and go get that, use it, actually use what the whole purpose of why you got it. So I don't fault Rich. I saw some things on the Carl page where people were like, Rich, stop being a bitch, just go, and things like that. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't know, man. If I there's because not only is Rich, is it him and Sarah, they got the kids too now. So now you're thinking, all right, do you want to end up getting blown up and freaking wherever because you wanted to be cool and not, quote unquote, a little bitch or whatever? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know. So I don't fault Rich for changing plans.
Yeah, and it's probably the right thing to do. And I mean, shit changes and shit always happening. It's not unheard of. And at least I appreciate you saying the condolences, stuff for my family. But it's funny because when I talked to him a long time ago, I was dating some gal who was from Florida, and there used to be hurricanes all the time. I'm from fucking LA. I'm used to fires and earthquakes. So anytime it was an earthquake, like, oh, category 2 or 3, I'm like, yo, how's your fucking fam? I'd be all worried. And she's like, oh, your family
Yeah.
this, your family that. I'm like, oh, they're fucking fine. Like they're used, like they don't give a fuck anymore. They're just kind of used to it because it happened all the time. Oh, all we do is throw parties. Like we have hurricane parties and shit. Like even when shit was crazy, they're like, they were just so accustomed to it that it
Yeah.
was never a big deal. And like that's what's kind of the unfortunate part about like my family in Mexico. They're like, ah, it'll fucking blow over. Like it's cool. Like I'm like, is it really cool, bro? Like, what the fuck? Like,
That's how
like
you
I'm like,
know.
we're
That's how you know you're super Americanized, huh? Because you're like, really? They're like, ah, it'll be fine.
yeah, like, oh, it's just like they don't fuck with the people, they might kill each other, this and that. It'll last for 2 to 3 days, a week, and then it's over. And there is a reality to that, like the Robin Hood theory, where like they're not gonna fuck with the people unless you're fucking with them, obviously, or you're dealing with the business. But if you piss them off enough, or you're at the wrong spot, the wrong time, or innocent bystander, who the fuck knows, right? So,
Yeah, yeah,
but
that's true.
they are kind of like just unfortunately just used to it, right? And that's the scary part about Mexico is like there
Yeah.
is no fucking power to kind of push it. You think that shit would fly here, bro? They fuck that shit would not happen in the United States, bro. That should be
No,
ASAP.
it's crazy too, dog, because I live in a border town. So I'm 10 minutes from Mexico one way and I'm 30 minutes from Mexico another way. So I'm right here, where we can go into two different, like ports of entry. And before, dog, my whole life, dog, I just turned 38. My whole life, we never had to do anything to go into Mexico. You never had to show anything. You never had to, like, when even like if we were walking across, if you didn't have any bags with you or nothing, they'd be like, all right, come on over. Like, and now, dog, there's a line to go into Mexico now because now they're actually checking. And this is before everything that just happened over the last week, over the last like few months. When people are going over, like I'll see like in little like Facebook groups and stuff, people are like, hey, why is it taking me 45 minutes to get into Mexico? Usually I have to worry about making line coming back, but going into Mexico, like, what the hell? So, yeah, it's something, dog, that I've never seen before. That now I feel like something like this is only going to amp up security even more. So, even for us to go in a border town across the border is becoming a pain in the ass each way?
I read some article, fake or not, who knows, but about 70-80% of the uh sorry, the guns and shit that these fools are using supposedly come from the US. And I can see how that's probably true and shit. And it's funny you say that shit about going to Mexico. Bro, when we used to go, because when we used to do Southern Cal, they'd have like fucking 5 or 6 lane open getting into Mexico, and there was like nobody fucking there, bro. Like maybe one guy like working 6 things that just fucking waving where everybody
Yeah.
by, like you don't give a fuck and shit. And then like coming back, it was always a clusterfuck. And
Yeah.
that is interesting though, because I know they're getting a lot of outside pressure, but I mean that's probably good overall. It sucks for those people trying to get in now, especially for there's a lot of daily commuters. I know people who work on that side and come
Yeah.
back, or vice versa. So, but hey, man, whatever keeps everybody safe.
Yeah, and I had when I worked with the college for like 10 years and dog, we had people that lived right there over the border and they would commute every day. And if you didn't have like, are you familiar like with Sentry? If you didn't
Hmm.
have like Sentry where you could basically just like drive across or walk across, you had to be in line for like 2 hours in the morning, especially when everybody's trying to go to work or get, because there's people that worked here that lived in Mexico. And so people are trying to get over here. So Doug, there was people that it was crazy that I didn't realize had lived right over the border and they would make line every morning, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours, sometimes just before they were even here at 7 in the morning. And I'm like, dog, it's just so crazy that now you're kind of having the same problem going back into Mexico. So it's just crazy. It's so crazy, man. Times are crazy right now. There's
Yo,
no, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was gonna lighten things up, but go ahead. You can go ahead and
No,
finish your thought.
well, I was just wanted to just say about the tier 2 shit. I keep mentioning that, just obviously try to rep. But did you catch the videos of Steve, old Steve and Tommy on their fucking rap song?
Oh, you know what,
On their
Doug?
that shit was
I
fucking
wonder.
hilarious, bro.
Let me see if I can connect my phone real quick to the thing. Let me see.
Yeah, that shit was so funny for the guys who trying to get understand what's going on. So Uncle, oh, not, what does he call him? Big Steve.
Big Steve,
And
yeah.
obviously there's a big winter storm, and Lisa, hopefully you guys are doing good. I know you guys are getting dumped on the East Coast, but Big Steve, they have like a family chat, whatever, and they were just showing, talking about how much it's snowing or whatever. And so Cavino shared a couple of videos of his family, kind of teasing each other about it. But it was a video of Big Steve kind of covering an old school song with his little remix about how much snow there was, and then Tommy
What
did
was
one
the
too.
song, dog? Because I'll play it.
Ah,
Well, I'll play it right now. Maybe you can remember, but I'll play
okay, go ahead.
the. So first is Cavino's dad, where he was kind of looking out the window at all the snow. So for you guys that don't know, Cavino's family lives in New Jersey, and right now they're getting hit like crazy with snow. So here's actually Big Steve.
Oh wow.
Stuck in a house with you, and I don't know what it is I can do. I'm so scared I'm gonna fall down the stairs. Snow everywhere. Snow to the left of me.
You
Snow
went for
to
a minute.
the right. Here I am stuck in the house.
So I think it's Stuck in the Middle with You by
Oh,
Steve. That's what the song's called.
so then Cavino's brother Tommy had a little rebuttal, and here was his music.
Feel all alone. And I don't think I can go out and roam unless Dan puts on his boots and hat and he puts a shovel on his back. Come to the Willow Street, shovel my driveway. Here I am, waiting for Dan to come through.
Was he saying waiting for Dan to come through?
So yeah, I don't know if you caught that part.
His brother-in-law?
I guess yeah, and so I guess they live together or share the same house somehow. So he was like saying that was a part that Kavina was saying too. Like, yo, he's like, well, he is a fucking house owner. Like maybe he should do it, you know. But he was
Yeah.
like, that's what the whole spoof
Oh,
about
that's
that was.
why they were saying they were like Tommy's messed up for waiting for Dan to get there. They're like, if you're
Yes.
living in his house or you guys are all living together, you help out too, Doug. And that's what it was. Okay, because I heard the
Yeah.
part where they were bagging on Tommy for not helping, but I didn't remember what it was for. Oh, and Lisa says it's just that time of spring. Dang, you know what? Thank God. My biggest problem is today, dog. It was 87 degrees, so I was like, man, it's getting hot already. Damn. When just a couple of weeks ago, I was like, damn, I'm tired of the cold. I wanted to get warm again, just because, dog, it was like in like the low 50s, and now that it's 87, I'm like, all right, dog, let's bring it down a little bit. So,
I was the same way, bro. I brought the fans out of storage today because it was like 78. I ain't turned the AC on yet, but I probably had to bring the fans out.
oh, dog, no, the AC's been on for a minute over here. But we keep the house at like 65, and I have the fans on and stuff, dog. So we're a cold family. Which is funny, dog, because when my daughter was like 3, she would get into my mom's car, and as soon as she would get in, she'd be like, I'm hot. Dog, like a fish out of water. And I think it's because ever since she was a newborn, we kept the house cold as hell, you know? Oh, man.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead. Let's see what else we got right here. So we got Rich in Mexico. Oh,
I got
this
one
is
more thing.
Okay, go
Is
ahead.
the friend in need stuff I wanted to talk about. I don't know if you had that done.
I did
Did
not
you hear
have
when
that
they?
down. What was the friend in need? I forgot.
Oh, it was kind of funny and a little. Maybe it should be on Have Kids. They said,
Oh,
but
I remember now. Go ahead and
yeah.
recap us. Recap the people that
But
didn't
yeah,
hear.
so if you guys didn't catch it, somebody I guess who's familiar with the show obviously sent a friend in need, and the boys know, and they said he's an old listener, so if that gives anybody any clues of who it might be, but apparently they got a new partner, they just moved into a new apartment, and anyone who's lived in apartments or hotels or shit like that, like the walls are never really thick, and you're literally like sharing the same wall, so. Spot was sharing his memories of like, yo, I have people above me and below me. I'm sure they hear me and I hear them. But apparently, the neighbor left a card on their door saying, kind of being nice about it, but being weird and kind of tiptoeing around the reality of what's going on. But he's basically saying, hey, you guys are being loud and it's keeping me up and I'm really, really tired. But it was talking about I think you guys are having adult time. Like I can hear the bed hitting the wall kind of thing. And then the guy started talking about it. And the more they talked about it, I think Spot hit it on the head where it's not just like it's the fucking, sounds that go with it,
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah.
Yeah. The sounds that
So whenever-
accompany the knocking, right?
And so I thought that was fucking hilarious. And like, I don't think it was weird. Like, yo, like he said, hey man, tell him my bad, keep it down. Or people were saying, hey, put some shit on the bed so it doesn't hit the wall or move it behind. I mean, get creative, bro. Get on the ground, do something. But I thought it was hilarious that I'd be kind of like, yo, I think Kavino like, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, that's me, fucker. Like, you'd be a
Yeah.
little proud, like, yeah, I'm laying it down. But in a way, I'd be kind of embarrassed too. Like, damn, I'm looking being loud and shit. Like, I gotta turn it down a little bit, like curling them
Hey,
toes.
so damn, what was I gonna tell you about that? It was so did you get to see the note? Because they were reading the note. Did you get to
Yes.
see it, or were you only listening?
No, I got to say, I got to say.
Okay. Did you catch something? I said it was a female that wrote the note. Do you know why?
Because the writing was kind of like the
Uh,
same. Like, not, it was a blank paper, so there was no lines, but the lines were fucking straight and shit.
That's a good observation. That's not what I noticed. What I noticed, dog, is on like the eyes or the exclamation points, they did hearts. Instead of like a exclamation point, like a line and a dot, they would do like a line and a heart. So it was like, thank you so much, exclamation point, like 3 of them. And it'd be like heart, 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 like on them. And I was like, dog, at least no dude that I know it writes like Luis, Lui with the little heart, S. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I've never seen that. But so I was like, dog, it had to be a lady. But the fact that you said that as well, that it was in a pretty clean line, dog, the font wasn't like, it wasn't great penmanship, but it was a lot nicer than some dude that's gonna write it. And the fact
For
that
sure.
it was that extensive, it was like a page and a half, makes me again think that it was some girl that took her time to sit there. If it was some dude, I felt like it was, hey, stop the racket, don't be an asshole, send, like.
And just back up or get a little deeper in that, it was actually a fucking card. Like, they went out of their way to get a card
Oh,
or
it
have
was
a
a
card.
card. I didn't know that.
That's why it was white and it looked like it had a crease. So it wasn't like if it was me, I'd just fucking grab whatever piece of paper I got, like a scratch piece of paper or just a ruled piece of paper. I wouldn't go out of my way to get a fucking card to write this shit.
Yeah.
So I think it might have even came in an envelope. I'm assuming if I did, but yeah, it wasn't actually like I wouldn't say a birthday card, but it was a card that you would open and fucking write on. So that's
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
No.
What you got? I seen a picture of Rich up there.
Oh yeah. Let me get to that real quick. So we have Rich Davis over here. Did Cavino say that Rich stepped out to drop a glunk, or there was some
Yeah.
word that Cavino said that I had never heard? I think he said glunk. He was gonna go glunk one off or something. And Doug, this is what I don't understand about having to pause like that, and because I feel like it happens more often than not, where this dude, like Rich, in the middle of the show, and I think it makes me think, dog, that he just doesn't. I don't want to say respect Patreon, but the other day he got up and he's like, "Here, Sarah, come talk for me. I got to go talk to the gardener." And then this day he had to get up to go drop a deuce and left Cavino there. Cavino was like, "You couldn't have done, dog." So when they're going and they're talking for a minute, you can, just like us, you can kind of gauge like, all right, this dude's going, he's going to be a little winded. I have 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. You can kind of gauge the conversation, right? So if I see you talking and I know it's going to be a minute, like right now, my daughter was yelling something. I changed the camera angle. I took out my headphones and I muted me so I could hear what she was saying. But you kind of see, okay, he's busy, or whatever, but you keep talking. Rich waited for Cavino to finish telling his story, and then he's like, I'll be back. I'm going to go drop a deuce. And I'm like, Doug, their show is 2 hours and like 20 minutes long. I'm like, he couldn't wait. And it wasn't like it was the start of the show. Doug, if it was an hour into the show, he couldn't wait another hour, like, and just like, or Doug, or even know that, hey, I'm going to have to be sitting for 2.5 hours. I might, like you tell your kids when you go on a road trip, before we get on the road, do you have to use the bathroom? I feel like that's what Rich should do before they start recording, because Doug, it's just so, I don't want to say disrespectful, because I'm like, whatever, but it's kind of like, dog, you just, for real? I just feel like if it was Fox, if they were doing, would he get up and just leave Fox to go take a shit? Right? If they were on Now or Never, if they were doing ESPN. But the fact that, Doug, the people that are paying him directly, and I don't want it to be like I'm paying you, dance monkey dance, but it's like, Doug, we're paying you directly because we enjoy your content, we enjoy you, we want to support you, and then you're like, you know what I think about that? I'm gonna go take a shit. Like, Like that's how I took it. It's like, really, dog? You're just really just gonna go and drop a shit in the middle of the show? To me, it was a little. Dog, do you remember? I don't know if you remember. You're my age, so I think you might. But there was this black dude back in the day, dog. Like when YouTube first started popping, and he would be like, I think he would say like unforgivable or some shit, and the videos were always in like black and white, and it would be like, tell my lady go make me a sandwich, and she gave me attitude, unforgivable. Do you remember that dude or no?
No, but I feel like I've seen it or heard it.
But
I
dog,
can't
this
say that
dude
I
used
have.
to be, and that's how I just feel. I'm like, dog, that's unexcusable. You know, I'm like, I wish I could change the color to black and white real quick, just so I could be like unforgivable. But I don't know, dog. To me, I was just like, come on, Rich, just pinch your cheeks or something. Lisa said, let me see, a lady did write it. No guy would care. Seriously, would you as a neighbor write that? I would not. So just catch up on the chat. No, I wouldn't. But then again, you know, I've been an apartment, you know, neighbor. Luckily, we actually, you know how you said the walls are pretty thin usually. Ours were brick. So, dog, we weren't worried too much about noise. The only thing is, it would be like upstairs or downstairs that you would get like noisy shit, you know. But other than that, like your next door neighbor, it wasn't too bad. Um,
It's funny how Cavino calls Rich Cigar Cutter Davis. And here's the thing. I'm not gonna offend anybody. If I had a shit and I'm gonna be like, hey bro, I'm gonna shit myself right now. Like I gotta go. Like I'm sorry. Like as much as I would hate to do that to him, like I'm not gonna sit here and just shit myself in front of you. I gotta go. Like I'm sick. I ate something bad. Like it just happened. There is certain times you can hold it, whatever. I get it, but it does seem like I think it's happened recently a couple times, and it does seem careless because it's like, look. Shit happens. We all get it. It's happened with Cavino. He gets a call. And he's like, he never answers his fucking phone. Like, hey, this is Melly. It's a school. And he's like, yo, was this an emergency or what is it? And then if it is, you'll get up and fucking leave, right? At least excuse yourself, maybe. You know what I mean? And the first time it was like like yard work,
yeah.
right? And it's like, don't fucking make excuses for why you're doing it because I think it sounds worse. He's like, well, it wasn't gonna shit. It only takes like 2 minutes. Like you're still fucking leaving. And to your point, we're not like, hey, I'm fucking paying you stand behind the camera. But hey, man, there's a right way to do it. And at least that your partner knows so that he can like, oh, I gotta step up or step in to
Dog,
make sure this was
even they
gotta do
have
what he gotta
notepads,
do and shit.
right? Hey, I'm gonna shit my pants and send it to him. Right. Just hand it over to him and let Cavino kind of bullshit. And then by that time, Spot can change the camera. It'll be a one shot on Cavino. And dog, we would never know, you know, the difference. But I don't know, maybe some people like that behind the scenes type shit. I know I love behind the scenes stuff, but Rich needing to take a shit, I don't need to know about. You know what I'm saying, dog? I love behind the scenes stuff. But I don't know, man. You know what? And we're actually, I didn't realize what time it is. There's one game kind of thing I wanted to play real quick before we bounce. And not really a game, just kind of a question. So I'm gonna go ahead and share something with everybody. And here's if you guys are only listening, because I know sometimes people be washing their car and stuff when they're listening. So if you are, shout out to you. But I'm going to go ahead and share this picture. And it says, you're on a plane ride for like 18 hours or some shit. I forget what it said. It said, who are you sitting next to? So these are the people that it has. If I'm not mistaken, it's Cyndi Lauper, Prince, Phil Collins, Elton John, Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, Bruce Springsteen, and who's that dude? The one George Michael. Is that George Michael? I think it is, yeah. So again, Cyndi Lauper, Elton John, George Michael, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, Phil Collins, and Prince. Who are you sitting next to on a flight for 18 plus hours? Do you want to go ahead and let me know, Luis, who you would do? And let us know in the chat, too, who you would be sitting next to.
Yeah. So, I mean, on top of the fact that it's hard to pick just because of who these people are, I'm also a fucking window guy, too. Like, I just like
Oh, that's
window.
hilarious. I didn't even think about that.
So, I was like, I was stuck between Michael Jackson, obviously, Freddie, or Prince, but those fools have the fucking window seat, so I'm gonna sit next to and talk to Michael Jackson the whole way there and shit, because that's probably going to be everyone on the other side. I'm all right with it. I mean, I wouldn't be like all over them, but I mean, who doesn't want to sit next to
Doug,
MJ? And definitely just the fact that it's a window seat.
a window. No, it's so funny because I saw this, and the reason why I chose this one is because on the Covino and Rich listener page on Facebook, this got a lot of attention. I saw a lot of people had their choices, and I wouldn't do this, I would do that. Dog, I didn't see one person put on there, you know what? I want a window seat. So it's so funny. So if you are a window seat person, you'd have to sit next to Cyndi Lauper, Elton John, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, or Phil Collins. Oh man.
Double M says that's probably Madonna.
Oh, is it
Or she
Madonna?
thinks it's maybe.
Oh, Madonna, I think, and it's Prince for me. Oh, maybe that is Madonna. I don't know, Doug. Yeah. So
Still,
we'll
I
say
wouldn't
Madonna.
change. What about you?
Dog, to me, it's not even a question. It's gonna be Michael Jackson. Dog, I was the biggest Michael Jackson fan growing up, dog. I just my whole life, Michael Jackson is it, dog. Is it? I remember even, dog. So This Is It, which is the Michael Jackson, documentary that they actually released after he died, because it was gonna be like, this was gonna be the tour. Dog, I've seen that so many times. I saw it for the first time in the theater when it came out. And me, my buddy Luis, and my buddy Chris, we all went to go watch it together. And to freaking, after that, I remember I got it on Blu-ray. And now, dog, I have it like on so many like digital forms of it. Dog, I know that concert or that documentary almost like word for word, and just like I love it. MJ, dog, I would sit there and it wouldn't even be like, to me, it wouldn't be like, hey, how do you write a song or whatever. Like, dog, I would just want to sit there, and I think just having a conversation with him, being like, or not even that, dog, not because you're not going to sit there and be like, hey man, what's going on? But all right, is he chatty? Right? Like, that's the kind of shit I would want to know. Is he going to try to make conversation? Is he going to be standoffish? Right? If he does make conversation, what is he going to talk about? Can he have peanuts? Is he allergic to peanuts? I'm like, you know what I'm saying, dog? When they come and offer you, your drink, is he going to get a whiskey, or is he going to get a Diet Coke? Is he going to get water? I'm like just all that kind of stuff. Like, just basically being a fly on the wall. Even if I didn't talk to him the whole flight, being a fly on the wall and seeing how he lives his life. If he pulls out his phone, what is he watching on TikTok, right? What is he going to on YouTube? Is he listening to music? Can I see Spotify? What's Michael Jackson listening to? Dog, and if he does want to bullshit, I know so much about him. I could be like, man, talk about Gary, Indiana, right? Talk about his siblings. Talk about Reby, who never wanted the famous, spotlight, or Janet. Be like, dog, like, I know she's your sister, but when I was a kid, I kind of wanted her. You know what I'm saying? Like what would I say? But yeah, I don't know, dog. To me, hands down, it would be Michael Jackson. All right, but I have a question for you. Who would be number 2 for you? I think that's a harder question. Or if you don't want to answer number 2, who would you say, nah, fuck that, I have no interest in sitting next to them? Who's that one? I think that's a funner question.
I think I would go with number 2, and not. I mean, the seat thing was just irrelevant. But I mean, I'd like to sit next to Freddie Mercury. Everything he to me is kind of more up my alley.
Yeah, I think it would be Freddie. I don't know, dog. I don't know. Because, okay, I'll tell you, it's definitely not Phil Collins. It's definitely not George Michael. It's not Bruce Springsteen. It might even be Elton John. He's cool. For me, it would be probably Freddie Mercury, and then Madonna or Prince, and then Elton John, I think. But yeah,
that's kind of how I would roll too.
Freddie would probably be there.
If that is Madonna and she was willing to entertain me, hey, what's up? I'd be like, I'm gonna go sit next to her. Like, hey, let's go join the Mile High Club real quick.
Yeah, just try to kick it to her, right?
Yeah.
Dog, which is crazy, dog, is that her and Michael Jackson are the same age. They were both born in 1958.
Damn.
Yeah. So, yeah, but Doug, I think that's pretty much where we're gonna end things tonight, man. I know we're already going a couple minutes over, but we're probably right at an hour because we did a few minutes before I actually hit go live, and then you messaged me. You're like, Doug, are we live? And I'm like, oh. I'm like, I guess not. So I had to hit go live. So I appreciate you guys joining us. Andrew Sims, I know you're going to be future dude for this one, so I hope you check it out. The other Andrew Fournier, everybody else that checks us out, Magical Mexican, I know he said that he was going to have to dip to go watch the president talk. Man, so all of you guys joining, all the new people, that have been joining us in the last few weeks, Double M, we had Chatter Will podcast was here live, and all the regulars, Lisa, I see Luis there, Magical Mexican did stop by, Leonardo did jump in, so we appreciate you guys jumping in. Better question is, who would you sit next to? Okay, let's do this before we leave. Who would you sit next to? Oh, he said Magical Mexican says, no, I was joking. I wasn't sure. Lisa says, better question is, who do you sit next to, Covino, Rich, or Spot? Who are you sitting next to on the plane, Luis?
I think I know who you're not gonna sit next to, but I know. I mean, to me, it's Covino. Where's my bro? I feel like he's like my tío. I feel like we're kind of related. We have a lot in common. That's I lean towards him most of the time because I think like him. A lot of where he comes from, there's a lot of similarities there. And or Spot, I've had the opportunity to chat with Spot privately on the IG and a couple events. Stuff was it was slid in my DMs, but that was funny, man. He has a lot to offer, and I like Spot's perspective. It's more relatable, I guess. Rich is just fucking all over the place. So I think it'd be fun, but he'd probably get bored of my ass and then be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on over there?" And then he would just fucking.
I didn't think about that. But, yeah, no,
but
I
definitely
would
Covino.
Think, you know what? It depends. I think it would depend because I would want to sit next to Covino because he's obviously the closest I've been with, right? Like as far as just I don't know. I think built the most relationship with Covino, but I think that I might want to sit next to Spot and kind of just pick his brain about like editing and shit, And I just know that he's a wealth of knowledge. So I think it would really kind of depend on what mood I'm in. I'm like, do I kind of want to like talk about like work type shit, about editing and shit like that? I'm like, do I want to have kind of a chill session where we can bullshit a little bit, but kind of keep to ourselves? I think that would be more Covino. Or if I'm like, just want to talk nonstop. If I forgot my headphones, I'd sit next to Rich, right? And talking nonstop the whole flight is probably what I would do. So if I forgot my headphones, sit next to Rich. If I'm kind of like, kind of a little tired or whatever, I'll sit next to Covino because I know we can bullshit, but I know we would both be comfortable having our own space. And if I was like, well rested and wanted to talk business, I think I talk to Spot. So I think that's how it would be. Let us know if you're future dude, who you would sit next to. If it's not the picture of the airplane with, the famous, Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, all them, Covino, Rich, and Spot, who would you be sitting next to? So Luis Cortez, again, thank you. If you guys missed it, he got me this dope hat for my birthday, so appreciate that. I know you have a birthday coming up, dog, so I'm gonna have to like send you something, dog. Fucking send you a gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings or something. But anyway, dog, do you have any parting words before we leave?
No, man, that's it. I think this closes out February. Next time you guys see us will be March. And for those of us who helped Rich out with the fundraiser, sounds like that's going down this week. Of course, Rich is now the MC for that. So hopefully on Sunday or Saturday, I get a call. And then hopefully on next Tuesday, you see me, I'll be fucking sporting a Rolex because I'm going to win that bitch. and if not, thank you for having me again, bro. We're man, fucking time's fine already. Go USA all day, homie. Olympics, and then you got the Orange Man talking today too. So let's see what kind of bullshit that fool says. But thanks for having me. Thanks, health as well to everybody out there. Thanks, happy birthday again, brother. I'm glad that it was a special day for you. And
dog, we've done 18 weeks together already. Can you believe that? That's crazy to me, dog. It's just flying by. So thank you so much, man. After show, but later, episode number 328. We will see you guys in episode number 329, March, baby. Let's go.
On the road to the riches, cause it's all about the paper. Now buckle up your seats and prepare for the journey. Let the music ease your soul, grab a spliff and start burning. Relax with us and take a trip to the heavens. And come and spend a day in the 757.